Okay, where's my backgrounds? Whiteboards. All right, let me just get out of
Sorry, I really hate Zoom. I really do.
I know if we could find another mode, it just seems to be. All right, I started recording. So anyone that comes after or late or anything, they'll get. I know there's a few right now that have and nobody's waiting. Okay. All right, so welcome to our what season is it? Spring. My absolute favorite one. I think it just gets. I think everyone kind of feels after that winter, they can't wait to like jump in and let things start and get things going and moving. And it's kind of exactly how we were designed to have it happen this way and get it going in this direction at this time of year. And so what we're going to do here, it's we have it set up in a 3-week where it technically calls for 21 days. But the way it works, it's broken up into 3 weeks. So we're going to have week 1, basically, you kind of get yourself set up and that's when we start to, we're going to be drinking a lot of warm to hot water, but we're going to start pulling things out of our daily regimen, out of our diet, out of our environment, anything that's kind of within that toxic realm to us. So we're going to start exactly where we are today, like what's going on with you right now today. So we're going to meet each other and meet at this point in time. So, which gives that's where it becomes unique. And that's where it kind of comes, specialized, which is one of the perfect parts I love about it. So in the setup of the weeks, the first week, you could have, maybe you're already kind of in that mode where you're transitioning a little bit. So you might start a little bit more advanced. And then if you're not, and say you are brand new, you're going to start right in the beginning. So I'm going to screen share here just for a minute. All right. Okay, I'm just going to share my computer. And let's go to, can you see this sheet here? So I'm going to email this sheet to you, and this has multiple layers here of links on it. And it's basically my document that I follow that has all of the information and links to not only the information that we're going to be going through, but extra reading, things that might spark your interest for whatever particular reason you are starting right now. So a journal is going to be a very, very good thing to keep. So you can start kind of where you are right now and mentally kind of mark down, like, what am I starting right now in my diet? Where am I in my exercise? How are my relationships right now? How is work going? Or how is vacation time go? Like, every bit of it plays a part in where we are right now. It's not specific to the season only, it's specific to the person and the season. So the season is primarily the season of rejuvenation, detoxifying what's going on. So you have to kind of open your journal and kind of give it a starting date of exactly right now today. Why are you doing this detox? At what layer do you need to shed? Are you going in it for physical? Is your mind all scattered and brain fogged? Do your joints hurt? Are you just finding like life is combative with someone right now? There's all these different reasons. Not only are there one or two, you could be encompassing all of this because of whatever went on in the winter for you or in the fall. Or if you've never done a detox, you have layers, and we in general have layers and layers that are just like compounding over time on us, in us, and around us. And if we never address them and never really get to start to building this toolbox of how to address all this, it gets bigger and bigger. And then that's when disease settles in. That's when like major life situations happen or change or occur that maybe could be avoided. So you have to figure out what is your reason right now. And I have a couple from the other detoxes. There's a couple questions you could ask yourself. There's design your own detox. I'm going to add that to the sheet where you can go in and kind of ask yourself questions. But I really, really encourage right now, it doesn't matter, no judgment, only you are going to read this. Where are you in your diet right now? What are you ingesting? And not only physically, which is one of pretty much the most important, but what are you watching on TV? How much work stress are you carrying home with you? What outside environmental forces? You could be, surrounded in work with high toxic plastics, simple things like that to even, think of. Are you listening to loud noise all day long? Like, what's going on in your life right now? Write all of this down. It could be just words. It doesn't even have to be explained. It's just going to give you on this date your particular starting point, which is going to be important. So bless you.
Thank you.
So that's, I find, extremely important. Whenever I start something like this, I kind of give myself a starting point so that I know my progression and how certain things, you might start on a particular feeling or whatever you wrote for your day, and 3 days in, you're doing some things and it's really reacting well, or it's not, and something's not working for you. So you can go back in and address what you've done, where you've been, what you're eating, what you're listening to. So starting point is important. And then this sheet, I think, was sent out on the email. So this is know your why. This is pretty, this is going to make, this is going to make it important for you, because if you don't really have a why, if you're just doing it to do it, it's going to kind of come and go. But if you're doing it with a particular person, like a purpose, why it's important to you, what are you looking to gauge from this? What do you want to change? What part of it, what aspect about you or it at this time do you want to change? And then why now? Like, why are you doing it now? As you clarify these questions for yourself, it becomes more real, and not only more real, it becomes more actionable. So from there, and then what made you ready to do it this time? Like something broke you down to the point where you're like, okay, I need this now. So write that down in your journal, or kind of be mindful of it. It sounds like a bunch of kind of pain in the neck things to do before you start, but it gives you clarity, and it actually will help you really finish and follow through. So there's a bunch of studies I'm sure you read on this that I sent out, but having these particular sheets are extremely helpful, very, very helpful for you. And then we're going to discuss some of the positive stressors for the body. So you can try to do some of these, you can do all of them. I find them, my personality is very challenging to myself or to things. So positive stressors will, they will invigorate you to where you want to do them again. In the beginning, you're going to be like cursing me out, probably. And understandable. So, but that will happen. But as you start to feel the difference, so maybe it's just Wim Hof breathing or something for you, or if it's the cold plunging, or if it's interval training, like you might be, Mary Jane, and you say, you know what, I hate running up a hill for 30 seconds hard, or I hate running in place, or I hate doing push-ups or something. But at a particular part in the cleanse, if that's what you're here to do, if that's what you need to do, if you need to jump start part of the body mechanisms, I really suggest that you try these and see how the outcome is for you. If you're coming into this and the positive stressors for you are sitting in silence, because that's really hard for you. When I started detoxing, and really when I was in Ayurveda school and really going into it, I mean, I've been doing yoga and all this for years and years, and that Vata personality in me and that go, it was like a Vata Pitta, constantly on each other. Sitting was hard for me. Like meditating I could do when I really listened to a guided meditation or really took myself through, but the act of sitting and do nothing, like doing or just being or listening. Like now one of my joys is 5 o'clock in the morning listening to what the birds are like starting to say. But 10 years ago, if you asked me to sit down for a while, I was like, oh, okay, all right, like what can we do? Like I can't sit here. So if that's a positive stressor for you, just learning how to sit in silence and not have to move, have to think, have to check your phone, that is a positive stressor for your nervous system. So there's layers and layers and layers here that I'm going to help you address what it is for you that you need to do. So this very beginning portion here is going to be really, really important for this one, for you in particular. Are you here to detox out that stress and overdue? Are you here to detox out extra weight, joint pain, hormones, fatigue? Like, is all this following you through the winter and you want to detox it? That's in here for you. But all of it, we're going to encompass in some kind of a dietary need. We're going to go through a structure, and depending on where you are and what area of it you want to take, there is a mono diet. There is just a very clean 10-day, like a detox diet where you're still eating real food, small portions. We're going to time the meals. It could be you want to try gut shots this time. Super great for your microbiome. And maybe you've never done them. Maybe you've never made them with sauerkrauts and kimchis and things like this. That might be new for you. Fermented foods, amazing for the gut. So kind of the food element has to be in there because the food element also going to feed your brain. It's going to have that that direct connection to your brain and your spirit. It's all connected. So if we go into our diet and our lifestyle and we think it's okay, or we think it doesn't matter, I'm going to try to convince you just the opposite, that it's crucial. So within that, then we're going to get into the gut, and we are learning more and more and more and more about the gut and what we call the gut now, the actual microbiome, and all within the digestive, the GI tract. I think we all know it starts in the mouth, goes down the esophagus. We have all of our organs go through it, and then anus, and then out. But along the way, there is this whole living other organ, like it's a whole cosmos there that is called our microbiome. And that is really what's sustaining life, breaking down life, adding to health, breaking down health. And science and technology every day, every year for the past 10 years are just exploring more and identifying more. And it's become this amazing new wealth of information. And because we have abilities to take lectures and Zoom classes and certifications and things online with these experts, we're all getting to benefit from this information that in the past, wasn't known yet. I think we had a totally different idea of how the insides work. And now we're into the microbiome, which, connected right to, we all learned about the mitochondria, but now there's layers and layers are coming out that are just expressing so much more health in our bodies and our mind. And this is what I find super fascinating, because I'm experimenting with myself in years and finding the results are extremely positive. So we're going to get into that. We're going to learn about it. We're going to understand what it is and why it is, and kind of what's going on within our insides, because it's also who you're around. Who are you sharing your microbiome with? As you stand in a circle with people, you are exchanging. What animals do you touch? It's so good for you. Are you getting your hands dirty? Like, we don't do that anymore. The soil's contaminated with pesticides and herbicides. And so are you walking barefoot? Are you doing things that we used to do as kids, or we used to do when life was different? So we're going to kind of get back into why these things are important and why it's a good idea to start incorporating these silly little things back into life in these 3 weeks. So like I said, it's not going to be the old traditional. It can be a very, very traditional detox, or we're going to get into more and learn more. And week 2, you're going to be able to choose there's a traditional like Ayurvedic detox, which is beautiful, wonderful, wonderful. You can do kitcheries. I have the recipe book is down here, my recipe book, with every like salads and dressings and meals and juices, and like all the recipes are in there. And then there's also the gut shot, how to make them, how to do fermented foods, which is a lot of fun. Some is super easy. Within the second week, if you want to do the fast mimicking diet that I ran in the wintertime, if you're to the point where you're at a level, you've been doing some intermittent fasting, maybe you've tried some detoxes and this, you're kind of a little veteran here, I would recommend trying the fast mimicking diet for 5 days if you're to that level. I did it this winter and I have never felt this good in 5 days. And I've done every experiment on myself. I've done every detox. I've been doing them for 10 or 20 years at different points. And this particular one of the calorie restriction, because I do lots and lots of fasting, but the calorie restriction brought it into a different level. And I didn't only feel it physically, and my brain was like wide open on fire, but I felt a lightness in my spirit. And I know that's kind of weird for people to kind of think of, but when you get rid of all the clutter, you can go back to feeling your inside, like your true essence. And I'm speaking to the right community because you understand this, but if there's so much clutter and there's too much going on internally in your digestion and your mind and your environment, you can't feel your true spirit. So in week 1, if you're kind of conscious of starting to, we're going to pull out so many things that are getting in the way. And then week 2, we can experiment, see what level you're on. Like I said, the recipe book is fantastic. It's got a little bit of everything. And I think the dosha quiz is in there too. So if you're not quite sure what your dosha is, do the dosha quiz again. And there's dosha specific drinks or salads or cooked food over raw food and spices, things. But you could even benefit from 3 days of the fast mimicking diet, which would give you a lightness and a clarity different than you would feel. So I'm here for all questions, anything you want to try or not try. I'm game, because this is going to be a brand new one specific to each person to see what level they're on and what they want to do. And then when to detox, that's, I think everyone in this group is pretty good. Although we have quite a few new people that have never detoxed. So they've been seasonal. So in Ayurveda, it's called Ritucharya. And as we go through the seasons all the way around the sun, each one brings a different set of energies with it, and a different heating, cooling, wind, rain. So all the elements are affected within our body. So as we go through these changes, you need to get rid of the old season, get rid of the old environment within you, and then bring on the new, get ready for the new. So a seasonal detox is very suggested in Eastern medicine. The major 2 seasons, though, are spring and fall. Very, very dramatic on the body. And that's when I really encourage some kind of a cleanse in the spring and the fall. Really, really important. And this is really important. So my very first one was about 29 years ago or so, when I really, if you need to trigger a healing crisis, like if you need to get something going, starting anything, any healing process at all, I highly recommend it coming firsthand, is within yourself detoxing, physically detox out toxins from your body. That will give the body a new beginning to start a healing process on any level: spiritual, physically, emotional, hormonal. Mine was physical. Well, no, actually mine, it was everything, but at the time I thought it was only physical. And then, or to respond to a healing crisis. If your body is already starting to heal in a particular way, and you give it the added benefits of a detox, the response time, the response capacity is just huge, absolutely huge. So we can go through those. Anyone has any questions on that? I went through the ringer, and compared to what some people go through, mine was not a ringer, but for me, it was at the time. It was horrific and just made me a person that I never was in my whole life and all. And I knew inside, like within my being, I knew innately, my intuition and my gut was telling me that medical doctors' medications were going to mask it for a minute. And they were going to make me feel better to think better. So I did certain things, but it wasn't going to cure why it happened. Like, why is it there? What's going on? So detox for anything to jumpstart is a fantastic way to go. And then we're going to get into, we can go in and out of this as you feel like, why and how it impacts your life doing a detox. And then we're going to get into the new science. We're going to wait till like probably week 3 to go into this. What is hormesis? What is the gut health? What does it mean? Why the fast mimicking, the calorie restriction, why they all work? Why start taking supplements again? I've been taking supplements in 10, 15 years because my diet is so extensive in the plant world and everything. And then when you really, really learn how much nutrient capacity you're getting from the soil to grow the plant, we're so far behind the 8 ball from when we were back as children, or really more our parents. They were lucky enough to have like really pretty good soils and still things were okay. There's like nothing left in our soil. So we think we're eating really good food, but we're not getting the amount we need. So supplementing is beginning to become a very, very important part of everyday diet. I don't know how to turn that off, so pardon me. And so there's a whole bunch of different sections through there that we're going to go over. And then so you'll find on the bottom of the sheet, again, I'm going to send the sheet over to you, the recipe book, the gut shots, juice fasting, smoothie recipes. Here's the 2 different parts you can go through on the fast mimicking diet, and also the meal chart. I would pull this up. I think it's only 5 days, 3 columns, but you can use that you can do that over for the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, if you like. And then there's a few worksheets available. And then this one is super hardcore. So this could be done here, or if you just want this information, I don't know if anyone has ever even heard of a detox for your liver, but for the liver stones we get that are from the gallbladder. I'd never heard this was the thing. And the cleanest people I thought were like so clean. They were doing this, and we actually produce these liver stones and gallstones that we can pass, and they're crazy. But that's like up here high level. So I don't know if anyone wants to try that. So, and then movement, sleep, the mind, these are going to be really, really important to keep aware of and keep in our daily routine. So movement, if a detox is kind of getting things out and kind of moving things out of the body, I really highly suggest we're going to be eating greens and all different wonderful things. But movement, we're going to really, really have to concentrate on getting some of the breath work in, and I'll have links to all the breath work. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the Wim Hof breathing, so that would be a stressor. That would be a part of that hormesis, and where you're breathing to where you feel uncomfortable and it's borderline like passing out. You hold your breath for a minute and then you exhale. That is a positive stressor on the body. Movement. We're going to actually, if anyone is game for this, not just walking, exercising, hiking, yoga. We're going to do like primal movement. I don't know if anyone is doing this yet, but actually crawling, moving, rolling if you can. So crawl, and then you can kind of walk and then run. It's different things that we're so robotically now as we get older in a set pattern for movement. But when you add back in these particular stretches, these guys here, it's called Strength Side. They're amazing, the stretches that they do. It's really fantastic. And down here, Movement Parallel Life. This is Kellen Milan. And he's funny. He'll come on, he'll be like, hey, weirdos, ready to go today. So it's a kind of a fun thing to do in the morning. But he basically is teaching you how to, if you have grandchildren, Kay, I know you do. I know, like, you see kids in the park or whatever, and they stand up, they fall, and instead of falling and getting back up, they like crawl for a minute and they run on their hands, or that they bump into each other and they roll. Like, we used to be able to do that. Like, you used to be able to physically So I started doing it last year, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Like, it's crawling. I'm doing a crab crawl, or I'm doing a lizard crawl. I'll tell you what, I was out of breath in like 5 minutes. By 10 minutes, I'm sweating. Now I feel like my shoulders and everything are getting this workout, and I'm looking. And of course, the one time Kevin is watching, I didn't know he was watching me. He's watching me like crawl around the backyard and do alligator crawls and stuff. And he's like, she finally lost her mind. But the workout you get and the muscles that you're moving that we no longer move, the kids move it every day. The strength and the core and the flexibility we're going to get from this. So it's not a detox where you're going to go lift weights and jump up and down a whole bunch of times. I'm talking just a little bit of functional movement. Like, for the fun of it, tomorrow morning, like, wake up and try to crawl like the babies crawl, and then get up on like sort of all fours and crawl, and then try to get it into like an alligator crawl. It's not easy, but it's going to start moving our joints in the right way. So as we're detoxing and moving things out, we also want to move it out of our joints. Everything that is moved into and settled into joints, if we don't move them, it's not going to come out. So if you're lucky enough to go to a gym too, and you can do, or if you have someone in their house, if you have a sauna, you could go in and sweat and kind of lubricate the body, but do not forget to carry your water with you all the time. So we're going to sip hot water, warm water all day long, as much as you can. So as you're doing that, and then you lubricate the joints by warming them up, and then you can do a little crawling or something, the benefit, it's going to help move those toxins out of your joints and out of your blood vessels as well. So we're not going to like run a marathon or go crazy, like I said, with physical movement in this and beating ourselves up. We're going to open up the body. We're going to do pranayama, and then the stretches and like primal movement, which is going to help create this pathway for toxins to leave the body and detox. And quieting the mind daily, this is going to be real important. Even if you have 5 minutes, 2 minutes, morning, afternoon, a break, evening, quiet the mind, like really stop and do nothing and just listen. Just listen what's around you. Doesn't matter what it is. Just get conscious of learning how to listen without thinking, doing, moving, writing, and you'll get up in the morning and you'll want to kind of just go to your quiet space. So I've always said in the past in my detox, create a little quiet space for yourself somewhere. Find your little area where you can go in the morning and do like a little daily meditation or do some breath work, but be able to sit by yourself. So create anywhere in the house. It could be, some people have like, I actually used to at one point have to go into like a little closet because the kids always had so much noise or something. So just find somewhere for yourself so you can kind of connect to your mind. And then we're going to connect the connection between the body and the mind all day long with this stimulus, like within work and things. Learn how to sit for a minute and just take a deep breath. That's all you have to do. Just take a deep breath and decompress yourself from the situation, from the work day with the kids out. You could be somewhere it's out and it's loud, and then balancing the brain. This is really, really hard for the American population. Well, no, the entire world right now. Balancing the brain is really important because of our outside stimulus all the time. TV, cell phones, iPads, computers. Even when you're walking, our earbuds are in and we're listening to something. It's overstimulating the body. And believe it or not, that is all adding toxic sources everywhere. It's like a layer of toxin in the body everywhere, because as we're listening to things, if it's hyper or if it is very loud or active, the body's stress and cortisol level keeps going up. It keeps reacting to all this. And what I've said in the past a million times, the body's not going to differentiate between the cortisol spiking because a stress went on or you ate a Dunkin' Donut. It's still going to go up. Your cortisol goes up. Your insulin to respond to it goes up as a stressor or sugar, and then immediately starts producing fat. And then the fat, because we have it it just keeps storing and storing. So if you could find during the day what you're reactive to, so those reactions from the brain, and start to learn to manage them a little bit so that you keep your cortisol level, reactivity cortisol lower, you're going to benefit 100%. And the weight or whatever that is, the joints, the weight, it's going to fall off faster. And then the brain, the inflammation of the brain, it's directly connected. So it's called inflammaging. And as we know now, Alzheimer's and particular form of migraines or things, it's inflammation of the brain, but it is technically type 3 diabetes. Sorry, it's getting dark here now. You can always tell what season I'm in, whether it's dark or light. Or so understanding inflammation in the body is really important, but it's really important now, especially as we start to get older too. Are there any Alzheimer's, in your past, in your history, migraines, things like that? The inflammation of the brain is really scary, and we didn't understand it until now. And it was just a thing like dementia and Alzheimer's that's what aging is. And now this crazy part, they're finding that the way we understand aging right now is technically a disease. 100 years ago, and in the blue zones, in lots of remote little areas around the world that don't have the technology and all that we have, and have the bad food sources, they kind of progress through life and they still hold their health, and they just get older, like physically looking older, and they get older, and then they just keep going and going until it's like the last day, and then they just pass on. But there aren't all of these nursing homes and these assisted livings and these chronic care units, and all, because aging is now it's what we've done to ourselves, and our physiology is crazy, and what we've done to the inflammation in our brains. So if we continue to detox seasonally, do certain things to change our diets, we're going to get into the understanding of really how important the food is in our bodies, because food it's not just a filler to make your stomach feel like you ate something. Every bit of the food is a chemical information. It has a particular essence on the body. It has a message to bring to what cell. It turns all of these genetic like pathways on, off. It's every single compound in a food has a particular place it's supposed to go. It has a particular message it's carrying. It opens a pathway. So if we start to understand why food is so important and what we're doing, then all of the inflammation and all of the misguided pathways in our body start to get addressed. So I'm grateful that you all have taken the time here to do something about, or just change a little bit of something in your life, learn a little bit more, or maybe this is something that you're just like, all right, enough's enough, and I need to start right now. Whatever it is for you, let's get clear on that. And again, we're going to do, I will finish this off after, but week 2 is the actual getting into whatever part of the detox you have decided is important for you, and what direction you want to go in. Are you ready to go, or whatever it is that you need? And then again, all of the dietary guidelines will be here. Any recipe you want to follow, any particular path you want to take is going to be there. And then week 3, you start to reintroduce, but we're going to stay on whole foods. So you're going to start reintroducing some of your daily life back in. We're going to add in a tiny bit of protein to start. So through the middle, the only key components that we are strictly going to stay to is we're going to eliminate caffeine, sugars, gluten, alcohol. Sorry, everybody. What did I miss? Ultra processed foods. So anything, so you could kind of list it one way. If a plant made it, eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't touch it. So we're going to eat real foods, but we're going to keep the protein. So protein is necessary for the body, but it's hard to break down. It's something hard for the body to do. So during a detox, generally no sugar because it just interrupts all the pathways, and no caffeine because it's a stimulant. So we're trying to learn how to regulate our own cortisol by having it come up in the morning the way it's supposed to. Then your cortisol slowly starts to decrease by the day, through the day, by the end of the day, down. Your melatonin, serotonin shift comes in. So we're going to keep the caffeines out of it. And of course, ultra processed foods and any kind of additives are so confusing to the body that it is so hard, and it takes on so much work for the body to actually figure out how to take care of this, that the regular processes the body's supposed to be going to becomes laden and hard. And again, protein is just hard, and gluten is directly turns most of all of your wheat products and your ultra processed flours and things turn right into sugar in the body. So it's basically the glucose overload on the body is it all turns into sugar, and too much sugar. And as we start to tap into burning the fat for our fuel, we're also taking away all the storage little areas on our body to use that for fuel, rather than directly correlating our energy to glucose and sugar. So that's going to be our core within there. Week 3, we are going to put food back in, but we're going to start putting real food back in. And hopefully when we emerge and we start coming out of this, we're feeling so much better and getting the results we wanted, that you start to shy away from, even everybody thinks like, oh, but it's a diet soda. But the diet sodas, sometimes the chemicals are more interfering to the body than the sugar. Although the sugar's horrendous, but it's like so all of these extra added things they're putting in food items for us as a low sugar, low fat. I'm going to encourage you to eat whole fats, like really good fats. So coconut butter, coconut oils, olive oil, avocado oil, marinated artichokes, like all of these things, olives, really good concentrated oils, fish oils, different things like this are going to stimulate your brain as well. You're going to develop brain power by adding these better high quality fats into your diet. So as we start to shift, and you may open up your journal and say, okay, I ate a raw smoothie something and I had gas all day. I didn't like that. So you might have to switch something out. Like I'm that person. I heat up some of the smoothie. I don't drink it cold. So sometimes the greens break down for me so I can digest them better. But introducing fermented foods was a huge game changer for me. I eat sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, like all of these, and it adds an amazing capacity to my digestion. So there's different tricks and, little tips we can do that will work. So I don't need to share that anymore. All right. Do we have any questions, or anyone have any questions? Especially, I'm sure week 2 is kind of the big question for most people. What kind of a diet, or what direction do you want to go in?
Rice okay?
Is ice okay?
Rice.
Thank you. That's exactly, I forgot to put on that. So yes, you can have rice. The only thing is, if you are trying to lose weight, like years, I was afraid, I didn't want to lose any weight. So I did more of the khichdi, and I would do that for a certain amount of days. But I'll tell you, the rice did keep me consolidated, and I didn't really lose more than like 2 pounds or something through the cleanse. And it also made me constipated. So I didn't eat all the rice. It is definitely, rice is very easily digested. It's okay on the diet, that's fine. But if you want to try to lose some more weight, I wouldn't eat it as a staple every day. I would stay away, or have it 1-2 days, maybe this week in week 1, or in week 3 as we introduce. But in week 2, you can have like purple sweet potatoes, things like that are more fiber so you can kind of swap it out for something that you think is like that more staple, like solid food. But you can have rice, you can have quinoa, chia seeds, very, very good, and flaxseed, things like that are really, really good What else are some of the grains? So if you already know your digestion, so we can like taper it down to that as well. Like, how is your digestion works? What works well for you? Are lectins a big thing for you? They are for me. And lectins have more of that nightshade as well. They are very, the plant itself is carrying this, this positive little shell over so that they're not taken, and it does affect some diets more than others. Some people can just burn through anything. So it's kind of specific, but yes, you can have rice. Sorry, that was a long answer for you. But I would not make the rice that Zeta just said. I would not make that.
Oh, really? Because that's what I was going to do.
But it's still week 1, so you can. So it's still a real food, so you can do that. But so the ham and the drippings from the ham are the most saturated fats. And on top of that, particular hams and things have a lot of a chemical ladenness in them, and they're more like a feedlot animal where they've probably just been in the mass. So you're getting all those extra hormones and antibiotics and corn. And so the meat that we eat, the food that we eat, is really reflective. What did they eat? Because whatever they eat, you're getting. So that's, if you can get into a more grass-fed regenerative farming kind of a thought after some time or whatever, that's kind of the better direction to go in, because then you're eating a more sustainable meat to start.
What about protein?
So protein, so this first week, we're just going to be pulling out, we're going to start to slow up on caffeine, sugar, gluten, alcohol. Like, we're going to start to take that out of our diet. And then by next Monday, we're going to start, that'll be the full. And proteins next week, I'm not going to worry too much about protein, because for 7 days, your body will pull enough protein that it needs out of the plants that you're eating to keep up with your protein load. You'll be fine on that. But this week, I would keep it cleaner. If you eat steak, maybe steak once this week or something. Yeah, you can still eat fish. You can still eat eggs. Next week, we're going to stay out of dairy, eggs, try to like eliminate all of that to really give. So the plant world is really where every ounce of information that your body needs to function comes from. So the more we can put in all this excess information, which is usually very easy to digest as well, we're easing into it, and then we're giving the body every bit of information it needs to do its detox and clean things out. We can drink detox tea, which is dandelion, the chicory root, the beetroot, like all those combinations that will help also pull it out. But protein in the second week is going to be very, very limited to beans, grains, things like, rice. If you do the khichdi, that is a complete protein. If you have your rice and your beans, the mung beans have as equal amount of protein to steak. So that's why a lot of, she was disconnected. That's why a lot of people that are on vegan or even vegetarian, they choose to have mung beans because they're very high in protein. So I eat those in lentils often. So, but no meat protein in week 2. Sorry. No fish, no egg, and no red meats, white meats. But week 1, yes, it's more important that you start to pull out caffeine, alcohol, dairy, wheat, things like that, like pulling the immediately. I would try to, if you can, getting the ultra processed foods immediately. Like if you're picking up a label on something and it's in this and it's packaged or in a box, try this week to not have, like, just start to, even because it's a mental release as well, to get rid of all ultra processed foods, because they're finding now more and more and more that is really killing society, like really damaging our health and our minds. ADD, ADHD, even schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, autism, they're finding this immense amount of information on it right now. And it's not me it's science and biology have physical machines and things now that can measure this and actually show us the data. And it's becoming a proven fact, our diets, how it's contributing to all of these horrible things that people are dealing with.
So this could just be, 5 days of eating nothing but salad that only has plants or fats, olives.
Yep, olive oil,
avocados.
olives, artichokes. Yes.
Right. So that's probably the easiest way, right?
Mhm.
If you're
But,
not
or if
used
you
to
could make
cooking
smoothies too,
kitchery,
where you can add in like a little bit more, like, because if you were to drink like green juices and things, you're going to even get more of the mass proteins of the green, and especially greens. Remember, Laura, you went through this, but Kay and Greg, you probably did not. There's certain foods that deposit into the body, and there's certain foods that take off the body. So we do a spring detox now, ultra important to think green and dandelions, chickweed, things like this that are out in nature. It's there and it comes up right now. Arugulas are all coming up, spinach, because that's what the earth gave us to detox our bodies. So that tightens, pulls, extracts, and detoxes from the body. So everything green and everything that's coming up in the spring is here specifically to detox the body. So if we start to take out, the winter foods are the nuts, the seeds, the berries, the root vegetables, all of the meats, all of this is there to put into your body to physically make it fatter and bigger to survive a winter. Think of a bear. The more he eats, the bear will forage and forage and forage on berries. Berries and fruits are fattening. They're all sugar. So all of these depositing foods, which have the earth and the water element in them, are here to make us a little bit fatter, a little bit thicker, a little bit more insulated. And then as soon as the spring comes, think green and detoxificate. It's astringent, bitter. So anything bitter, sour, things like this are pulling from the body. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take all of this excess, bring it into circulation, back into digestion, and get it out of the body. So we want to sweat and we want to move our bodies to keep digestion going. We want to lubricate with water, warm water, hot water all day long. And we definitely want to eat green and really get into the mindset of pulling out of the body. So astringent tightens up the skin, the muscle, and the organs. And then the sour kind of gets your salivation and your digestion going. And the astringent and the bitter combination pulls it out of your body. Those are detoxifying agents. So I can send over, I actually have a whole food list of all the spring items and things that you can incorporate. But think of nature, what's coming up.
yeah, that would be good.
Thistle, I mean, all this stuff. I mean, Ashley, I think you have foraged with me before. Right now, fiddleheads, Greg, I bet you down by your pond, there's fiddleheads. It's fun. I got Kevin to do it one year. You literally go down and get the fiddleheads and you saute them. But arugula, spinach, kale, thistle, chickweed, dandelion, all of this stuff that's out there, that's going to help detox all of the heavy metals, all of the fat, everything in your body that's excess. It's going to pull it from your body and send it out. So God's pretty brilliant. I mean, seasons were there. If you take one rotation around the sun and see what's available in food and start thinking, eating seasonally to what's really what should be available to us, it's brilliant. The chemicals and the messages and the signals it gives the body, it tells the body exactly what to do. Bulk up. In the summer, we have all those fresh vegetables and things you can literally eat right off the vine. It's because we're too hot and there's too much going on. The body doesn't want to digest in the summer. It wants light and airy. It wants really easy to digest things. It wants a little bit of fish, some vegetables, a little bit of fruit to cool the body down. So if we really start to listen, the seasons are going to tell us what to do to keep us in health. And spring is like, give it to me green. Give me green, give me like all this stuff, celery, things that are coming up in nature. If you kind of look out and explore a little bit, eat it. Like just it's all the vitamins you need, and it's all the chemical messages for the body that we need to understand how to, winter's over. All this padding, I've had enough now. It's going to go. The brain fog, I need to wake up. I'm not going to hibernate anymore. I'm coming out. So if you pay attention to the spring, this is what it brings. And it's amazing because you could be almost as psychotic as I am about it after a while. But it becomes intuitive. Like, Ashley, I think you started calling me like 2 months ago. Aunt Deb, I'm ready. Like, my body is ready for a detox. You start to know it. And the clock and the outside tells your body it's time. So if you're listening to your body, you really know it's time. And you start mentally preparing, like, I can't wait to do this. So it becomes a whole process of understanding what the body wants right then, which also makes the whole detox easier. You start to look.
I was craving it. That's why I was trying so hard to get my baby to sleep so I could get on this call. I'm like, I can't miss it. I need this detox. I'm so ready.
Yes, I am as well. It's like, it's amazing because you get to take that clarity for yourself. Again, whatever it is for you, open your journal and say, okay, I need to chill out, or I need to get stuff moving. So whatever it is for you, find your little journal. It could be a tiny little pad. It could be a digital, but you know what? If you can avoid doing a digital one, I would highly recommend it. I think mine is right here. I keep mine I think it's down there. Very, very close. When you physically write something down from your pen and pad, so the connection between your brain and your hand and writing it and seeing it makes it more real. It actually, like, it becomes part of your tissue, part of your existence, and you remember it. So if you read it before bed and kind of look again, that's how my day went, or tomorrow I want to do this, it actually becomes easier to do, and you actually follow through on it. So keep your journal with you, maybe your nightstand, or maybe that meditation or that little corner that you just created for yourself somewhere. Like, you can leave it there, but that little special space is really, it's pretty cool. It becomes a way of life after a while. So I love the spring cleanse. It's amazing. Any questions on Ash? You'll see the recording, but there's the week 2 is going to be very, very unique to you, whatever you need. And you're going to either really challenge or just like chill out. It could be, emotional and environmental for you. But the food element is going to be crucial, because that's what a spring cleanse. You want to physically remove toxins from the body. There's so many toxins in the winter. We want to get them out of our body, and we want to get them out a healthy, safe, but effective way. So
Yeah, I can't wait.
So are we meeting every Monday at 7? Is that what
yes,
the schedule is now?
Yeah, we're going to do Monday because we're starting now, and then we're going to check back in. I'm going to be doing what I've done in the past in the afternoons. I'll send out a little tiny recording. It could be only 5 or 9 minutes long, something like that. And it's kind of here we are today, woke up, how do you feel? Here's day 2. Did anyone try this? Try adding that in, or challenge yourself a little bit if you feel, if you're on the path where you want to be challenged a little bit. So I'll give you little things like that as we go through. Please, I forgot my canteen because it's in the car. I carry it everywhere. So, but I have my water here. Just if you could keep your canteen of some sort, any kind of water bottle with you all the time, just keep sipping it. Water is very heavy. If you drink it because you're thirsty, it's just going to come in and kind of almost create dis-ease almost in your body where it's too heavy. But if you sip it all day long, it hydrates. So what you're trying to do is hydrate your blood and your plasma. Your plasma needs to kind of get all of the nutrients in and have them flow. If we are dehydrated, all of our systems get backed up. So the detox doesn't happen nearly as efficiently and effectively if we're not hydrated. So every time you're thinking, you only need to take a sip. Doesn't have to be a big gulp, like drink the whole bottle down, because that's just going to push more food through our digestion faster. But if you sip it, the body will keep using it. So that's a pretty important part to not leave out. And a lot of people like to add lemon to their water. There's a section in the, let me pull up the recipe book. Where's our recipe? I'm going to share the screen in 1 second. Let me show you the, here's my share. Let me show you the recipe book. So here you can see the recipe book. The recipe book goes through light dinner snacks, different things and then why we have an early or lighter dinner. And here's sauerkrauts and things. But if you go through, there's a couple different recipes that you can try. A cleansing soup, if you even want to try this week to kind of start, I love this recipe. This one is amazing. It just feels good. Some of these, because I use this detox, some you might feel like, oh, that's kind of heavy. You can leave that for the fall one. So you take these back and forth or you alter them. If something is a heavy item, swap it out for something easier and lighter. But those are dressing.
And Deb, where can we find this? Is that earlier in the recording?
I'm sending you this detox sheet that we've been going over, and all the links are there. Everything
Awesome.
has a hyperlink to it.
Perfect.
There's many links.
Great.
We have breakfast here, but somewhere is here's the smoothies per your dosha. And these are great. So these are so simple to follow. Like if you just want to do some smoothies, pull this page up, throw it all in your blender or whatever you have. And if you're Vata, Pitta, or Kapha tends to be like more, like you're going to eat more greens and different things. Pitta is very fiery and a very fast digestion. So there's going to be a couple items in here that kind of bulk up and help you. And then Vata is very erratic and very air and earthy. And so some of the stews and soups and different things are going to be more specific to you. And then in here, you're going to add like a few more things that are a little more grounding to the body. Just quick salads, but somewhere here, there are the teas. So the seeds, I can't find it without scrolling through the whole, okay, I don't know. I'll add it if it's not in this one, but there are
Which
spices.
is better to use, lemon or lime?
Lime is cooling. So if it's already getting hot where you are, Laura, and Kay, you're in Miami or down in Florida somewhere. If it's hot, the sour taste generally helps with digestion. So it's going to start actually getting you to salivate and start digestion before it starts. But the lime, if you're very hot, cumin, cilantro, and lime, add those into your meals that you're making, your smoothies, your salads, because they cool the body down. So, and they also have, cilantro is super detoxifying. So I made Kevin a salad over the weekend and he wanted greens. I took a huge handful, like this big, of cilantro and put it right in with his greens, mixed it in. It's amazing if you like that taste. I know some people hate that taste, but
no, I'm good with it.
Yeah, cilantro is amazing. It's really good heavy metal detoxifier as well. So if there's any reason you think like, oh, you went through 10 years of eating a ton of sushi, something like that, cilantro is really, really good for you in heavy metal detoxification. So there's all different little tips and tricks and things in here, but I will send over, I don't know why it's missing in this, the different spices. Some people like to add, so CCFT is a really good detoxifier, and I'll generally use that a lot in my cleanses, in my water. Cumin, coriander, and fennel. So you just put the seeds right in your water. If you want to boil the water first and pour it on there and then let it kind of get to room temperature, just keep sipping it. It's a very traditional Ayurvedic. It helps digestion. All three of those herbs interact with each other to really help digestion. But at the same time, it keeps digestion moving and keeps things going through the body. So it's
love CCFT. It's so funny, like what you said about the body being so smart. I started craving CCFT like a couple weeks ago, and I just like ordered it in my cart, and I've been drinking it like crazy.
It's crazy. And
What CCFT? I don't even know.
It's the cumin, coriander, and fennel. So it's like the trio of Ayurvedic or most of Eastern medicines, digestive herbs. Do you ever go in an Indian store and when you, restaurant, and when you leave, there's that little cup of like weird things with little candies in it?
Yeah.
They're all fennel seeds. They're cumin, coriander, and fennel, or fennel seeds, and you chew on them after dinner, and it aids digestion.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, Laura. I ordered mine. I just typed in CCFT and it's like Biome Botanicals or one of them. You can just get the mix like right on Amazon. It's pretty easy. And you just get like a little, like one of those little tea filter things, you know, like one of the little strainers.
yep.
Some people don't like the taste of it, but I don't know. I love it. It's like really savory. It's different. It's not like a
You
sweet
can
tea
use a little
or
bit
something.
of honey. So honey also, honey you can use two different ways within this cleanse. So a trick, so honey to most people is sugary, kind of sweet tasting, because it is, but it's in Ayurveda and in different digestum, there's different like the post digestion things, and then after what it does to the body. So the beginning taste is sweet, but then after it is technically astringent. So it makes you're satiated and it starts to pull from the body, and then you're no longer hungry and you don't want sweets after that. So if you were to take a tiny bit, half a teaspoon of honey after you eat or something and finish it because you want something sweet, you'll get the sweet taste, but then after that, you'll get the benefit of having that more of a detoxive cleanse, and you don't want sugar after that. So honey, you could put a tiny bit in your CCF if you're wanting a little bit of sweet, but I would stay away from all other sugars. And
Okay. I've got to jump off. I've got something else coming
Yeah,
up at 8:30 I need to get ready for. So
absolutely. If you have any more questions or anything, just, you can text me, email me. I'm going to send this sheet right over, which has the recipes and all that on it. And as I update it, if I need to send something else to it, I will just send you the little amended versions. So you can kind of look at it and get a little idea of everything. So any more questions? Anybody as excited as I am to go forward?
I'm excited.
I am. Yay.
Greg, I know you're thrilled about this.
Greg was he was fired up.
Yeah, ready to go.
We'll connect on this later, Greg.
All right, let's see who wants to do the FMD with me a little bit in the middle.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Debbie.
All right,
Thanks
have a good
a
night,
lot.
everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good night.